How's it going, gentlemen?
Hello. So can we all hear one another? How's it going here?
I can so far hear everything.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. So I think this is it, right? Just the six?
I believe so.
Right on.
Cool. So how's
So
everybody doing?
which one of us is familiar with the format?
Uh, Jeff's probably most familiar with the format, and he's got a stormtrooper, so he's in charge.
He's also muted.
Oh, he's also muted. We cannot hear you, Jeff. If you can hear us, wiggle your nose. Oh, he's gone. I scared him off. Okay, so I mean, what we did last time is we just did a quick going around introducing ourselves, and then we went straight into the featured photos before kind of doing our own kind of toy talk and chit chat. So I'm assuming that we're all okay doing that again. I know we have a collab we also want to promote.
Yeah, I think we should just we'll go around the room here and introduce ourselves. I can start.
Yeah,
I'm
go
uh,
for it.
I'm Adam. I'm Super Powered Figures. It's nice to meet Greg and I'm just my screen's a little small. Sath, it's nice to meet you guys. It's the first time we're on with you.
You too?
And, new members to the group, so cool to meet you, dudes.
You as well,
Yeah.
man.
I'll go next. I'm David Whale. I most of you I know most of you guys now except Saf again. First time we're talking. I've known the rest of you for a while. But yeah, I'm glad to be here again. I think this is my fourth time co-hosting, and they asked me back, so I guess I'm doing okay.
All right. Well, I'll jump in next then. My name's Greg Shaw. I've been around sort of the toy community for a bit, several different forums, Geo forums, Mythic Legions mostly, and that. And yeah, sort of through roundabout different people like Ray Ang, who's been around for like a long, long time.
Yeah.
And that he knew Jeff from beforehand, so just sort of made the connection there. And yeah, and introduced it to Jeff. Said, "Yeah, we got this group. Come on in." One thing that's kind of cool is the guy in the group, Zach, who he works at a comic book shop in Scarborough that I went to since I was like born. And I've talked to him in there before and stuff, and talked about toys, photography. He's like, "Oh yeah." It's like you said, I don't really post too much, but I got this small group of guys you kind of share with. So when I joined this, I'm talking to Jeff. I'm like, "Yeah, there's this guy." He's like, "Oh yeah, that's Zach." So anyway, so yeah, good to be here. Good to see you guys. Like I said, David, I've known from other forums and stuff. And
Hey!
Hey!
Audio. There he is.
Audio's good.
I apologize. I was listening in, but I couldn't get in. So it's I apologize for cutting you off there, Greg. All of a sudden I realized I'm in. So
no, that's it. I was kind of done, and I'll save the juicy details for later. So
okay.
I'll pass it on.
All right. Who all has introduced themselves so far?
So far, just three of us. So actually, Saf, you're the noob here. Why don't you go next?
Oh no, you've got the same audio problem.
Yeah, you're muted. We can't hear you.
You know what I had to do, brother? I had to exit and then come back in, and then Thor has to let you back in for it to work. I don't know why it's like that, but it could be because Thor's MacBook is in the shop and he's using his phone, so maybe it created a bit of a glitch. But
and StreamYard is an evil mistress. Never forget that.
Yeah. I'm not actually. You know what? I don't think he can even hear us. Can you give a thumbs up if you can hear, brother? Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. He was actually a graduate from the workshop that I do at Heroes World.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
That's right.
Yeah,
cool.
Oh, nice.
both him and his girlfriend, which was really cool, man. They did some cool photos, and it's the thing I love about doing that workshop is just meeting people that are into the same kind of shit that I am,
Yeah.
but also getting, even if people aren't quite into it, but getting them excited about it, and then all of a sudden they're sharing photos they've done and stuff. I think that's great, and that's what this community is all about.
Yeah. Well, why don't you continue and just introduce yourself so everybody knows who you are, and then
Sure. It's I'm Jeff Terrell, and my handle on Instagram is Terrell Comics. And I thought I really dig this group that we have. So I'm really happy that we're all able to share our art together, and our GI Joe collab. David, dude, that was such a great script, and the way you write those scripts, it's flexible enough that you can kind of play with the phrases and the frames and everything.
Yeah.
So it's that's a talent in and of itself, dude. So
well, thank you.
Honestly,
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, the kind of I wanna write it. I don't want to write it so that there's only one correct way, like that there's only one way to show the story. I want to write it in such a way that you guys can all interpret it your own way, and even the way it's written to be flexible in terms of what characters you use. I mean, I wrote it where the villains are the Cobra Bats, but I mean, you used bats, but I know I've seen vipers used. I don't want to give too much away, but people are using even the main villain at the end. I've seen 3 different interpretations of that. So it's cool. It's cool.
I only have one bat, so I did like double shoots where there were 2 in the. So I'd shoot it with the one in one pose, and then leave everything else, lighting and everything the same. Do the other pose, and then put it in, and then take the shot. And then blend them together, and that's how I was able to get them all.
I'll tell you, it's funny because
That's
the
a cool
reason
strat. Okay.
the reason I wrote it the way I did, where it talks about their patrolling in pairs, is because I personally don't own more than 2 of any Cobra characters. So I figured if I was going to shoot this myself, I had to do it that way.
That's awesome. And Seth, can we hear you now?
Yeah. Could you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Introduce yourself. I gave them a bit of history on our relationship, and it's awesome to have you here.
Yeah. So my name is Satyam. So you guys call me Sat for short. I always been a collector. You know, I have like tons of Mezcos, Mafex. I love Mythic Legions. I kind of got into that last year, at the end of last year. So I was just tripping over boxes. And I'm like, I always wanted to learn photography and these things. So let me use the opportunity to, get into it. Something I always wanted to do. And it's a way to like learn some new skills. And, I've been meeting a lot of great people too. I know Greg through the Night of the North group. I met Jeff through, like all the stuff that Jeff does. So, it's been pretty good. And I think that's kind of general about me.
Okay. Yeah. I'm glad to have you.
Yeah, welcome aboard.
Thanks.
And who's left for the intros?
The Marshall Geek, assuming his audio is working.
No,
it's not.
Guys, you just saw 2 of us with issues. Why didn't you reboot?
Oh my God! It would not be a Torontoyians Pic Bar without Marshall Geek audio issues. It's an official stream now.
It's usually he can't hear us, but we can hear him swearing under his breath, going, "What the fuck?" And this goddamn thing. And then he'll be in the other room. Yeah, it's not working. I don't know what.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Right on. So now we've done our introductions and things like that, and I think Jazz will be joining back in pretty soon. Thor, have you been able to figure out the process from your phone to share the artists?
It appears we are having technical difficulties getting access to the Instagram stuff. So
Okay.
why don't we? I guess why don't we, while Thor's working on that, do you want to kind of give an overview of the collab? We briefly talked about the collab, but we may
Yeah.
as well kind of. You want to take the lead
Well,
and give an
sure.
overview of what we're doing?
Sure, brother. One of the things that is great about being in a chat group, and I think anybody that would be watching can speak to this, is the opportunity to be with like-minded individuals, and then we start getting creative, and we do what we call collaborations. And so this is the second time now Dave has written up a script for us, and this one is for G.I. Joe. It's called The Harsh Light of Day, and it's based on Stalker. And I don't want to give too much away so that you read our stuff when it's out there. But basically, what we do instead of drawing a comic is we take photos to satisfy each of the frame needs within a page, and everything that would go into creating a drawn comic goes into creating these pages, right? So for example, when I'm creating my pages and I'm doing my photos, I think of where the photo is going to be on the page. And what do I need to do with the scene that I'm creating to guide the viewer's eye to the next panel, right? Just the exact same way I would do it when I was cartooning, except I'm doing it with photography. And so that in and of itself presents a lot of fun and, well, let's be honest, frustrating challenges, right? but the end result, like by the time you're done, it feels pretty epic. Right, so it's so that's what we've just finished. Is we've finished up our GI Joe collab. So if you anybody watching, like, please go check that out and let us know what you think, because this is as a group when we have the most fun when we do this type of stuff. You know.
Yeah. And I think at this point, unless someone's posted within the last 10 minutes, I think we have 2 posted so far.
Yeah, I was the dirty little bugger that posted first.
Yeah, you were early. But what I'm doing, if people want to are having trouble locating them, if you go into my account, I have a story highlight set up that has links to everybody's individual versions of this collab in my story highlights. So that's might be an easy way for people to check that out.
That was really well done, that story highlight too. I thought it was awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. It really was.
And Jazz, can we hear you, brother?
Is he talking or just staring at us?
Now he can't hear us.
Okay, it looks like he can hear us. We still can't hear him.
All right.
So I'll introduce him.
I wish I knew sign.
I'll introduce him. That's the Marshall Geek. He makes toys fight each other all the time.
Yeah, and actually, my Jazz and I, he was one of the first local guys I connected with in the hobby. We did this collab out in the freezing freaking cold down by the Don River, and we just the two of us were standing there doing this photo with Catwoman and Batman and a few other figures, setting it up with lights and everything in the snow, freezing our fucking balls off. Right? And then we sparked up. We're smoking a joint, and then this older guy came by, and he's really curious about what we were doing, and we smoked him up too. We made like a new friend in the snow, and right. And then we did our shoot, and we've just been hobby buddies ever since, man. So Jazz is he's a good guy. He's really creative with his posing. And the other thing about Jazz is he does, in fact, take martial arts, and he's got some weapons training and things like that, and that translates in his photos, right? And you can see, and one thing I'll say, Jazz, is that most recent one you did, that is probably one of the hands down best sequential scenes you've done, because I didn't trip up in following the action on any of the frames.
Yeah, that one was incredibly
nicely, right? That was really quite good.
That was you've grown quite a bit with that, bro. Like you've always been great with the posing, but your storyboarding, that was next level. That one. So
that was really good.
Hoping he can hear. Yeah. All right. So
with you sort of going on, like, with him not being able to say anything, it's almost like a eulogy of some sort, right?
Yeah.
Now, when I'm sipping whiskey, it's terrible to waste Jameson, so do not make laughs when I'm drinking whiskey.
Yeah. It's funny having Jazz with no microphone is odd because he's I would say he's the most excitable member of our crew. So to have him silent for so long is so weird.
Yeah,
It's an accurate assessment for sure, honestly.
yeah, yeah. He's usually like, "Oh my god, that
Yeah.
was so good."
Or like yo with like 7 O's.
Right on. Oh, there's something going on in the chat here.
Who's got
Okay.
a tablet in our group? Sadly, I don't. This is from Thor. Yeah.
Well, and so these all the little highlights you're seeing. Is
Oh wait,
from
hold on.
Black Green.
So Thor is asking, Jeff, are you still working on a tablet?
I am.
Okay.
So
okay.
he's saying anyone that has
Okay,
a tablet.
Thor, Jeff has a tablet, so whatever magic you need to work, you can work through him. I'm starting to sound religious here. You can work through Jeff.
So basically, what should happen through StreamYard, because I've been in a couple other ones, is that he will solo Jeff, and then Jeff can feature the stuff from Instagram tagged screen.
Right. So
Cool.
in theory, that's what we're trying to do. So while we get Thor and Jeff all connected to do their God mode stuff, just quick around the block here. What's the upcoming figure or figure line everyone is most excited for? Greg, you go first.
Like a brand new line, or just stuff within an existing line?
Either a figure from an existing line, a brand new line, anything that's coming out. Like let's say something that's scheduled for 2024 that you're really excited about.
Well, one of my all-time favorite figures is Atticus Doom. It's the Mezco. I love the backstory. I love the concept. I know some people they're hot or cold. The oversized doll.
Wicked figure.
But I think he scratches like every itch, right? He's great. And the video that started that, when they announced him, when he was facing off against Black Phillip, who they've now named Bartholomew Vex. They're standing for the devil or witch boy or whatever you want it to be. That just dropped, and I think it was like 32 seconds before I purchased the damn thing. So I'm just basically sitting there every day hitting refresh, waiting for Mezco to ship. So that's probably right now my top. But then also too, I'm looking really forward to a lot of the new Valaverse launches. Not so much the truck. I love the truck. I just probably don't have the space for it. But the different characters that they're kind of branching out into and stuff like that. The environmental suits, now that they're in this Cold War with Hasbro, which is goddamn awesome for collectors, right? Letting them fight it out.
Yeah.
So now seeing them go back and forth, trying to up one another, I'm like, we have a saying in like the other group that I'm in, it's the golden age, brother. Like it's just good. Probably those.
Cool.
Superpower?
For me, it's the Mayfix Nightfall Batman that I've been seeing a lot of promo pics for that. It just looks really nice. I need a Mayfix Batman because I missed the Hush versions. So this one in particular looks like it can do a lot with like cape changing and stuff like that. I'm excited about some of the accessories that it seems to be coming with. So hopefully nothing gets canceled, and that's a solid one because I think we're waiting until June. So I'll be it's going to be a long wait, but I think it'll be worth it. They've been killing it with a lot of their figures. So that's a new line that I got into this year, and I'm definitely like in love with it now. So that's mine for sure.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
And Jazz?
I've always been partial to the blue suit too.
Can Jazz talk yet?
Jazz, can you maybe hold up
Nope.
a picture of a figure that you're looking forward to?
It's gonna be like a Pictionary. He's gonna have to draw all of his answers.
Yeah.
Okay, Saf, what about you? Something coming up in 2024 that you're really excited for?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Fury Toys line. I have the Donatello and Shredder on pre-order. That should be coming out in the next month. And next year they have like the Azure Lion from the Sun Wukong story. They also have a Monkey King story. I think they're going to build out a lot more of the characters from that story. And I really like those Asian influence figures once they're done really well. And I find like they're doing really good jobs, all of these third-party companies. So I'm really looking forward to getting that and seeing what else comes out from that line.
Yeah, is that the same line as that Blade Master Wang that Fun Picks did
Yes.
those cool pictures of?
That's
Yeah.
the Furai toys, but they're basically the same company.
Okay.
Basically, so if they get hit with like a copyright infringement for the titles and so on, just start producing on the other line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Jazz, do you have a photo to hold up or something? Oh, he's frozen now completely. Oh, he's moving again.
Yeah, Jazz is looking forward to
Okay, it looks like he just said, "Yes, I'm a potato." I don't know what he said.
He said, "Yes, I'm very excited about the Vigilante figure I'm creating for Jim."
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Mind you, we could always just have him put it in the chat, and we could just say it for him.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that's too straightforward.
Greg, stop being so clever.
So for me, I have to say the one that I'm looking forward to the most is the Savage Crucible. I only ordered 2 things out of the first wave, but I mean it's a barbarian dinosaur, so like
Like that's written all over it.
yeah. So yeah, that and well, I mean the whole Savage Crucible thing is really cool because I've got a couple of the fish people coming as well, but the barbarian dinosaur is supposed to be, I think they said, shipping in February or March, so very excited for that.
Yeah, they're both. Yeah, that looks amazing, and I love that. I think because that's the line that was created from the guys who did MAFC, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And so they've now gone. And so what's so exciting about all those things is that now they're gonna have all their custom parts.
Yes.
For that, so that'll be awesome.
Yeah, and I loved
Sorry.
how that whole thing grew out of fans. Like even
Yes.
like the paint masters were done by people that we have all. I mean, we have all.
Nikki
Well, some
and
of us have
everyone,
interacted with on a regular basis. Like
Yeah,
they're basically people we know who are doing the paint work and the sculpting and stuff like that, which I think is fantastic.
awesome. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Oh, and in the chat, VicoSand26 says, "Y'all nailed it with the Stalker collab. Same story, but doesn't feel like it." So yeah, we appreciate that.
Sick.
Yeah,
Mike's
thanks so much.
such a great supporter in the community, man.
Yeah, he is.
They're everywhere. Like it's impressive, and they do great shoots too.
Mhm.
Is it my turn for my excited figure?
Yes, it is.
Dark Wolf from Frank Frazetta.
Oh yeah.
I cannot wait for that figure to arrive. When you first asked, I was thinking like about 100 different hot toys that I'm not going to. I'm not going to buy them all, but that Dark Wolf figure, I'm really looking forward to it.
You've got like Fire and Ice like right behind you.
I was going to say,
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm a Frazetta fan from long ago.
everything behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so that Conan figure, I've got a few of them just for barbarians and things like that. I tend not to do a lot of photos with them, but I'm planning on changing that once Dark Wolf comes. I think I'm gonna do.
You know what? Once you have your Dark Wolf, like in the spring, because it's being released.
It's supposed to
March,
be
right?
getting delivered now, but
Is it okay?
but
Because
you know
in
what?
the
It's been
spring,
pushed back a few times, right?
okay,
So,
in the spring when the weather's nice, I will take you to a spot where I've done a bunch of of photos with like my Mythic Legion and stuff like that. It is
Yeah.
perfect for like barbarian stuff, as long as you're okay with climbing into like caverns and shit.
Totally, as long as it's not too tight. It's I discovered that I've got like crazy claustrophobia. I discovered that the first year the Blue Jays won the World Series, we all piled into a car, and I sat in the back seat in the middle, and people sat in beside me, and then on top of my lap. I had 3 people stacked on top of my lap, and
God.
I had this weird thing. I felt like I couldn't breathe. And I just like panicked, and I was weightlifting at the time, so I picked all 3 people up and threw them into the front seat and clambered over top of the person beside me. And I said, "I don't know what the fuck that was. But I'm taking the subway."
Yeah. Jeez. Oh, okay. So Jazz threw in the chat the one figure he's most looking forward to are 3 figures.
Yeah.
Mafex Bane, Mafex Batman, and Mafex Poison Ivy.
Yep, there you go. I agree with all of
I'm
those.
looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Also, the Terminator 2, I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, he looks sick. I've seen a few pictures of him.
Okay, so Jeff, did you get stuff sorted with Thor and the tablet?
Oh, I didn't even know if I don't see anything. Maybe I should be checking my phone messages.
Yeah, he says if you've got a tablet, he can solo you and we can show that screen.
Coolio. All right. Thor. Okay, Thor, if you're watching, I'm now in the Pic Bar chat.
So, Sath, you said you got into Mythic Legions earlier this year?
Late last year, I got my first figure, and I was like, "Wow, this blew my mind." And then in March, when they had their big sale, I just kind of stocked up on builders and started customizing.
So, how hard did you go down that rabbit hole?
Well, I decided to let go collecting Mezco. Like from last year, I kind of was disappointed with everything. I don't like having a figure that, I kind of get it, I break it in and put it back in the box.
Yeah.
Whereas, like I have a Mafex figure and it's on my desk for weeks. Or Mezco, I could articulate it anywhere, any direction without having to worry. And I understand how everything moves.
Yeah.
So, there were a lot of benefits to getting out of that line. And when I just kind of hit Mythic, I was like, I don't think, there's no turning back now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. There's also something too, like if you're done the photography part, if you're into a line where basically the joints are more or less operate the same way, you have everything, so like the limits of what they can do. But there's some lines, like where from figure to figure that'll change. And not Mafex, Mezco is a great example of that. Like, sometimes they're single joints, sometimes they have rotation, sometimes they're not. And because it's all the real clothes, sometimes like the chance of breakage is really high because you're never quite sure unless you really spend some time to kind of get underneath the clothes and find, which sounds really creepy and weird because it is. So
plastic nudity.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can remember back when I was doing 1/6 scale stuff, you would go to pose something, but you would like have to like go like this, like around the joints to make sure it was like facing the right direction. Yeah.
1/6. Oh man, that's like a mortgage hobby, man.
That's right here.
Yeah, I got out of it.
I'm only doing Star Wars with Hot Toys.
I got out of the 1/6 stuff about 8 years ago. I still have some in storage, but like because I was doing customs, so I was like buying pieces and like once in a while buying like a full figure to break it down for parts. But it got too expensive when you have to spend like $35 just for one single rifle. It's time to get out.
Yeah. But that being said, the photography done with 1/6, it's untouchable. Like it's gorgeous.
You can really get a lot of detail with it, and forced perspective works extremely well.
Yes,
like you can blend the real world people pretty easily, actually.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So That's what I think about it. I got into this with 1/6 scale just before, I think right at the beginning of the pandemic, and then what I found is the props were like super expensive. And they try and build dios all the time for it and stuff. Also, my skill was at a different level then, so I found it extremely challenging to work with 1/6 scale unless I was outside doing forced perspective with people on the street. But that kind of took away from it. While that's creative, it was creatively limiting, I found, with the skill set that I had at the time. And then I got into the 6-inch scale, and I started with super cheap Hasbros, right? Because I didn't want to spend a lot of money on it. It was just a way to keep myself entertained. I thought I could spend some money here instead of buying beers at the bars, because the bars are all closed, right? And but then as I progressed with my craft, then I started finding it a little bit frustrating. Like, I would pay $80 for a really rare $25 figure, right? And when I thought, like, well, why the fuck wouldn't I just spend $120 then on a mezco or something and get the soft goods and get like and I can zoom in on an eyeball and have it still look good and not cross-eyed or anything, right? So that was kind of my journey, where I started out. I wanted to be pretty cost conscious about it, not put a lot of money into it, but just have the tool. Now, also with that said, you can still get a lot of creative, fun stuff with any figure, like anything. Like you could do it with this and make it look fun, right? If you plan it out right. So, but it's so, and then Mezco kind of pissed me off with the Superman order. I had ordered it, and then they said there was an issue with the card, and they charged it 3 times in a row, bang, 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 just like one day after the other. And I was contacting customer service. I was like, Thursday, wait until Thursday. Like, I just had something big come out, and with my card, I can literally transfer like a bank account and transfer the cash over, right? And they wouldn't, they canceled it. And so I was like, fuck that. So like, I ended up canceling a bunch of orders, right? Because I got so pissed off, and I'm already paying a premium for it, and especially if you order from them directly. Sometimes it's more to order from them directly than to pick it up aftermarket in mint condition. Yeah. Right. So it's
so Jeff, sorry to interrupt. You've got we've got some instructions from Thor on how to get the photos up in the private chat here.
Oh, okay. So I'll go into the can I do it on my phone as well, or maybe
I think he said tablet. Yeah.
Okay, so then I will. So
Midnight Stars Customs is in the chat too. Hey, buddy.
Midnight.
What's up, brother?
Our cybernetic friend.
Yeah, our Wolverine. I guess I need to drop off here then, eh?
I don't know.
Sorry, let me read the instruction.
I'm just the messenger here. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, so I need to open the Pic Bar page.
Yeah.
From
so if
YouTube, I guess.
If you're running the you're running the StreamYard on your tablet, right? So just open the IG page for the tagged tab of Pic Bar, and then Thor will solo you, and then I'm assuming we're just going to go through each one of us can pick up.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to. I know I work in IT, but I don't know how to go from here to that other. Like, how do I get back? How do I get to the?
If you go how do you StreamYard is open in a tab in a browser?
The browser, yeah.
Okay, so if you open another tab and you go to the Pic Bar IG page, and then I think if you click present.
But how do I get to the Instagram? Like the Instagram.
Yes.
You do it through the application?
Yep. Yeah, you can do it through the application, whatever you want. Because once you get it open in another instance and then you hit present, you should be able to toggle to that, and then Thor will solo you.
So, so I'm in the Pic Bar.
See, it helps to have one person here who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, thank goodness, honestly.
Through a pandemic, we ran a Lego StreamYard for like 2 years.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Thor, I'm not sure if you're watching, but I'm Pat for the Pic Bar.
So did you hit present, Jeff, from StreamYard?
Present from StreamYard.
Yeah,
Down
going
at
to
the
your
bottom?
StreamYard thing down at the bottom. There'll be a little bar with like mute, stop cam settings, and present.
There's cam. I'm gonna go into the more here.
Hello?
There's only
Oh my
7.
God,
Hey,
Yeah, we can hear you.
audio.
There he is.
Holy shit!
I don't have those options.
Drinking to that one. Fuck. It only took me forever.
Welcome, brother.
Thank you. I'm so I couldn't pick one figure, I had to pick 3. Poison Ivy is probably coming out next year. Mafex Mando's probably coming out next year. That amazing Yamaguchi Moon Knight coming out next year. Bane and the Nightfall Batman that me and Adam are looking forward to. By the way, that's Batman Nightfall comes with interchangeable pieces that make it look more like Azrael as Batman.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'm hoping that you could put the gauntlets from the Asbat onto that Batman.
Yeah, that would be sick. It probably wouldn't be too hard to do that, honestly.
No, probably not. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it because it's got the spiked shoulder pads, like how Azrael has it in the comics.
Yeah, like
but
the
Bruce
wrist.
doesn't have that.
Yeah. No, that's
So
that.
cool.
Yeah, hopefully that'll work. That'll be really cool if you can do that.
It's so dope. My only thing is that Batman figure has to be able to go backwards so far, like at a 90-degree angle. Otherwise, I cannot purchase it anymore.
90 degrees.
Yes, if I can't break Batman's back properly, I ain't buying it, man. I'm sorry. It needs to be full. Like, he needs to be able to fully bend his back over his knee.
Hopefully.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just going to try something. I'm going to present. Share screen.
If you've got the option, dude, then please do, because I don't have the option. I can't see it, and my screen has all these cracks in it. I can barely read it.
Okay, can you guys see my screen here?
No. We still see you, but see if you can see mine.
Okay.
Can you see? Can you see the Pic Bar, or you just still see me?
No, I just see you.
All right.
Yeah, see, I tried sharing my screen, and it's not working.
Just hold the tablet up in front of the phone's camera, then what?
Yeah.
Solo the image on each.
Oh, wait, what's this? Hey,
Hey.
Now, the
Nice.
question is, who is that? Who did that? Who made that work?
Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna click into one of these. Does it click in?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's me.
Okay, good.
Yes. I knew I loved you.
It's because we go to the same barber, man.
Yeah. We're the white guy cliche, the older guy. Right?
Okay, so we actually have a question here in chat first from Vico San 26. How do you get inspired for a shot, and do you shoot then and there, or you create the scene in your head and analyze before setting up a shoot?
Both. All of the above. Sometimes,
Ooh, I think we should do a round table for that for sure.
yeah, like sometimes I'll practice. I'll be watching a movie, practice posing. And all of a sudden, I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I'm really inspired by that pose," and I'll just whip out my phone and like snap it. That simple. And then there's other times where you know how like you just kind of start thinking about a story or something you're watching, reading inspires you, and then all of a sudden I think, oh fuck, that would be great with this figure. All of a sudden I start planning a scene in my head, right? And so I see the picture that I want to do, and then I build in all the lighting, the set, and everything to satisfy that picture in my head.
Yeah. So like
Hey,
for
Jeff.
me, it depends what I'm doing. Like so for some like when I'm doing my outdoor shots, a lot of times I have action figures in my backpack and I'm on a hike. So like I'm not planning anything. I'm just looking around and looking for spots.
Yeah.
But then some of the like the indoor stuff that I do in my what I call my studio, my folding table that's literally right over there covered in crap. I sometimes I plan it out well in advance, like even a couple of days ahead of time. I know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, if for my outdoor stuff, a lot of times it's just
Yeah.
looking for spots that inspire pictures as opposed to planning anything out.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys are like this, but when I get a creative idea, it's got to come out. It's and forgive for being so crass. It's almost like having to take a shit, but like a shit that people will admire. You know what I mean? It has to come out. Like,
Jeff,
I'm turtling. This idea has got to come out.
are you sure you don't have ADHD?
I'm pretty sure I do, actually.
Because that's basically what I do. Is just like I'll look at something and I'll be like, yes, I'm gonna do that thing, and then just hyper focus for like the next 5 hours.
Yeah.
Actually, it's too bad I'm share because I don't want to get off the share in case I can't get it back.
Oh,
but
shit. You
like
know what?
in-
And actually, why don't we? Because I also I like to be sensitive to people's time, and if someone's been featured, and now that we can do it, why don't we highlight the artist, and then what we can do is at the end we'll do like a round table.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Okay. Because I
that's
want
the
to
best.
respect these people. Like we're honoring them. Like look at this. This is fucking awesome. This picture.
Yeah, this is one of mine. Oh man, I saw this I think like 2 days ago.
I was gonna say this
This
is
is
a
my-
fairly recent one because I saw
Yeah,
this
it's
pop up on my feed too.
This is probably my favorite shot that I've seen all week. I love everything about this. Like the set design here is amazing. I love how he's used the blood. I mean, I feel like we can all have like kind of bloody and gory shots every once in a while, but I feel like the way that he's done this, it's like tasteful. I don't know. It really helps tell the story, and it really sells his posing really really well. And like he's got like brain chunks in there. Like it's gory, but it's not like it's perfect. Like I just
But
there's a way to do it, and I think
he's selected the chaotic layout perfectly. That's something.
Yes.
You guys know what I mean by that. Like it's something you struggle with, right? Is it too much? Is it not enough? Like and trying to find that balance. Like he perfectly it almost seems like that really happened. Like it's so artfully planned out and executed. It looks like a real dead Joker.
And I think what he's done well too by using the iris blur, it drills us right down into the Joker's face, right? And then when he combines that with the restricted lighting coming camera right, it's almost like a pulp noir kind of thing, right? Like the opposite, you'd see like Tim Bruce using like Batman stuff where he just has like a single band of light that comes through. And with being Batman, it's also somewhat, Batman in an alley with a bloody corpse. It's got some good thematic ties back to the crime alley and all that stuff too, right?
Well, the first two things that jumped out at me when I saw this, one is it sort of reminded me of the end of the 1989 Tim Burton Batman, where Joker's fallen off the tower and the laugh box is going in his coat, and you're just zooming in on that. I mean, you guys know how much I love that movie.
I honestly
the second thing,
the recreate of that until I zoomed in on it.
The second thing, I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, who the hell threw him off the roof? Because Batman is looking up at us. So like, who are we supposed to be that just chucked Joker off the roof?
Oh, that's a good point. I never thought about that.
Harley.
And what I think
looked at it like Batman was feeling guilty, like I went too far and you saw me.
Yeah, that's kind of how I saw that too. Yeah, that's a whole other element. See,
the positioning of the Joker, the
go.
way he's positioned like that, and the way there's so much splatter from it, it looks to me like he's been thrown off a roof.
Yeah.
And now Batman's looking up at whoever threw him off the roof, and
And I like that even though he's dead and his head is splattered, they still retain his face and he's still laughing.
Yes.
There's a laughing smile. So even in death, Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
All right. So now it's only a case going on here. So, all right.
Wow.
Oh
That's-
yeah, that was one of my favorites that you picked, man.
Yeah,
This
this
is
is so
so
subtle
gorgeous.
and tasteful. Like it's a lot of really creative decisions, and I like that it looks so real.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I make fun
yeah,
of this
that's what
figure a
drew.
lot, and I always refer to him as caramel latte snake eyes. But the tones in this picture
It's so
they
perfect.
just all work because I mean it's all.
Yeah.
This is essentially a monochrome image,
Yeah.
right? Because I mean it's
Yeah.
it's all shades of brown,
That's true.
but it all works.
And
Yeah.
also too, like he's using like the rule of thirds, right? Like, so
Yeah.
he's taking it all over, and the rim lighting, yeah, it's really well put together, and the framing, yeah, it's really really good.
Yeah.
It really feels like he's in like the tunnels of a desert too.
Yeah,
So it's not just like, oh, it's just some random like picture. It's like it feels like he's out there, like in the trenches.
Yeah.
That's so sick. It's
Yeah.
so dope, man.
I think the other thing that he's done really well here too is that he's like, unless he really got lucky in camera, in post he's probably taken the black level of the lowest value, so maybe like his hand where he's hanging onto his gun, and he's matched it to the background, so you've got that really awesome high contrast that just doesn't like it, like the blacks all work, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
God
so
bless.
done a really good job.
God bless Lightroom.
Oh man, yeah.
My favorite tool, next to my camera and figures.
Yeah.
I really got to start using that.
Oh,
It's
it's a game changer.
incredible.
It's a blessing. I love it. It's so good.
I've had it for years, and I have just never used it.
Once you get into it, dude, it's you almost don't, unless you want to get into layering and stuff. You don't even need Photoshop or anything else.
No.
You can rock Lightroom. You only need Photoshop and stuff if you want to start layering, right?
Yeah.
And I use like you can use the free version of Fresco for that.
And if it matters, like, you know, if like some people, you know, the ACBA is, you know, that's how they roll, and that's the sort of the lane they want to stay in, which is fine. But in that community, Lightroom is considered still ACBA. So if you didn't want to keep in that lane, then definitely, you know, you can use Lightroom and not be called out from being, you know, like
honestly, that's my goal is always to be as ACBA as possible.
Yeah.
Sometimes in favor of breaking a figure out of frustration, I'll just use the remove to get rid of that little angle of stand I couldn't quite hide, you know. Right. And so I'm very thankful for that in it, but I try to I take a lot of personal pride and gratification when I can pull off a picture where I didn't have to do any kind of remove editing, just adjust the settings for light, you know.
For sure. Yeah.
That's
For me, it has less to do with pride and more to do with I spend enough time in front of my computer. I don't want to spend more.
Yeah, for sure.
it's definitely nice to avoid having to edit the stance out if you can. It's a lot of work.
Although I will say that the current version of Photoshop, I used to remove using like stacking, you know, and then stacking, erasing, masking, all that kind of stuff. But I got to tell you, if you can't do it and you can't do it without it, the removal tool in Photoshop is some voodoo magic now. It's insane. Like it's combining like generative fill with, you know, whatever algorithms there before, and it's insane. It's crazy.
Well, the Lightroom remove, it works the same way, right?
Yes.
Basically, I just adjust the width of the pen to
Yes.
whatever the piece of stand is that's showing, and I just do a sweep, and it somehow does this. Now I know what it's doing is it's looking at the areas around it and making a decision to what would blend the most. Every once in a while, it gets it wrong, and then you kind of go down this wormhole where you got to erase that dot, erase that dot, erase that dot. Right? But eventually, it ends up looking great. To me, it's the number one tool if you're into this hobby and doing photography, digital photography, or any kind of digital artwork. I think like Lightroom, even for drawn art, is great.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So This
We'll
one's
turn
great.
next.
So we'll go on to the next.
Yeah, man.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Very
Oh,
nice.
cool. I love the lighting on this. I love the almost
Yeah.
pastel feel to it. It looks
It's got
so
like
Saturday morning cartoon. Like
Yeah.
80s
that's
Saturday
beautiful.
morning cartoon. I love it.
And if you look at it too, it's like if there's a street fight in the alley, they use the cars, motorcycles, or whatever to light it up. So there's the the clean HID light on one side.
Yeah.
Great
Totally.
Even though it's just him and Ali, it doesn't feel empty. That's one of the things I like about it too. It does feel lively. It feels like there's things going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? It almost looks, now that I'm looking at it again, it almost looks like it's lit by police cars.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's
Is this,
nice?
does anyone know, is that the Jada Toys
Yes.
Street Fighter figure?
think
Or is
so,
this the,
yeah.
I think
Okay.
so.
I'm mad I missed out on those.
What's really nice too is that he's got it so he's actually sitting down, right?
Mhm.
Like he's not hovering. He's like right on the milk crate.
Yeah.
So that's really,
Yeah.
They're really good posing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dave, you should contact the guys at Heroes World because they just got Chun-Li and Fei Long in recently.
Yeah, no, I shouldn't do that. Remember, I'm still paying off vet bills, so
Oh, okay.
I'm out of commission
All
until 2024.
Okay.
But they're reissuing Fei Long and Ryu, so there are new ones coming out on shelves right now.
You know, I've been so tempted by them, but I went through this period where I had so many figures arriving that I would get like maybe a shot done with them, and then I wouldn't fully explore the figure. There's accessories I still haven't removed and utilized, right? And so I'm trying to slow it down a bit and appreciate them a little bit more.
Yeah,
Right.
that's a good idea. Yeah.
And so I found with the Hot Toys, because it just, instead of buying like several figures, you buy one figure, right?
Because you have no option.
Like where normally I would have had like a haul of like 5 or 6 figures, it's one, and then I still owe $50 on it, right? Like,
Yeah.
But
I think that's something probably all of us need to do a little more, is we get really caught up in getting the next thing to photograph, and getting the newest thing to photograph. And we probably all have like a dozen figures we can think of off the top of our head that we've had forever and haven't really done a serious photo shoot with.
Yeah.
We haven't utilized them.
So many.
So that's kind of where I am right now. I mean, vet bills aside, I want to make use of what I have before I start adding more to the pile.
Yeah,
exactly.
Honestly, like that's what I'm digging about the Hot Toys, and I made a rule for myself with it, though. It's only the Star Wars figures, because nobody does it better. Out there, right? Like Mathx is close, and I've been tempted by Mathx, but I'm like, nope, I'm gonna just keep my Star Wars stuff Hot Toys. And to me, like the way they do it, it's perfection. And they do have their quality control, right? But they're not as frustrating as with Mezco, where it's like an absolute fuck you, I'm broken, right? Like I got a stormtrooper that was a snow stormtrooper. I was able to trade a bunch of stuff that I wasn't able to sell, just so straight exchange, right? And but when I got it out of the box, like the armor was falling apart and the shoulder had been disconnected, so like it had been in the box, but it had been banged around, right? But what's interesting is they snap together really well. Oh shit! You know what? We're getting distracted.
I was gonna say, we probably keep it going, but
let's focus on the artist.
Okay.
Another thing I really like about this shot, before we go over, see how he's got like the reflective material on the props, sort of in the foreground and in the background there with the garbage bag.
Yeah.
That's like really clever, and it really helps move your eye. Like as we've been kind of talking here, I've just been like analyzing that. I think that's awesome. Great shot.
It gives
really good.
So many different. It gives points of interest, but because it's all out of focus, it still doesn't detract from the focus on.
Well, the use of
I can't remember
sidelight.
this guy's name. I'm drawing a blank on his name. This isn't
Cal
Ken.
Han.
Who's this guy?
Calhan.
The character. Ryu. That's yeah.
But also the use of sidelight, right? Like they've used contour lighting, And so the combination of the blurry background and the bright colors, and then Ryu being a different color from the background, and also with it being a side light, it creates an edge, and it outlines them and differentiates them from the background.
Yeah. No, it's a
So
really
it's
good shot.
really well done.
Yeah, it's really good. So thanks to Calhan for that, and on to the next. There we go.
Oh,
Alex.
yeah.
Alex.
We know
Alex
this guy.
Kahn. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, his stuff. I don't know who picked this. I remember when.
I chose this one.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
right. It's like, I was so happy when you chose him, because like, he's fairly new to the community too, and you look at his pictures, just how they developed in the last 4 or 5 months, and it's a steep upward curve.
Yeah, and he also built this diorama, did he not?
Yep.
He did, yeah, he
Yeah.
did.
Wow,
Wow,
that's impressive.
That's
It was
really
his
cool.
first diorama.
Is he in Toronto?
His first diorama. Gee.
He is.
So I mean, he did a good job.
Is he a Toronto boy?
He is. Yeah.
Then we
What?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, one of the things I like about this photo too is you could see the moonlight coming directly straight from on top.
Yes.
And when you look outside the lattice windows, it reflects green, which is if you have moonlight, full moon directly from above, it would reflect the light off like grass and the vegetation.
Yeah.
So you know, it follows that. It's really well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good eye too, brother. Like you just to pick that out. That's awesome. I didn't really notice that, but now that you say it, it's like, yeah, that's really well done.
The other
It's funny
thing,
because my first thought seeing the green coming through the back there is that scaphoid was out there. One of the things I love about this is it's I mean, the lighting is fantastic, the posing is cool, like the very natural posing, but I like the overhead frame.
The
You
angle,
don't see a whole lot of angles
It's
like
an
that because
interesting angle.
yeah,
Yeah.
because you tend to when you shoot toys from above, they kind of tend to look like toys, but the way he's got them posed and in the diorama that they're in, they absolutely don't.
Yeah.
Like that, and it almost we were talking about for the Batman one, like figure, who are we that we've just thrown Joker off the roof? My thought is like, okay, so who are we that we're spying on these people making plans?
Yeah.
There's storytelling here that I really like.
Yeah.
I love the angle. It reminds me of like Diablo or like Baldur's Gate.
Yes, I was getting
top-down game.
video game
Yeah.
vibes. From,
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's
like
like
the Dungeons and Dragons games on computer. And
Yeah.
stuff too, right.
And what's
yeah,
the
it's like
first
that
one
green
you
is like at the
Ones are
boss
paint.
room or something, like
Yeah.
this is like the party getting
Yeah.
ready to go, they're all buffing up before
Yeah,
the big
they're
boss
looking
fight.
at the map and they're like, "No, I believe it's right."
yeah. Yeah.
Making sure they pick the right dice.
It's also kind of like a painting, like the way he has the shadows, it's just so smooth, like
Yeah.
all of the light is exactly where it needs to be, like there's no harsh like bounce back off of anything. It's extremely well done.
Yeah, and I think too, like by choosing Leoser, King Leoser, with all the detail of his helm on the top, right? It's a great choice, because like you see the rest, like the red shield soldier and the couple in like Magnus and stuff, they look like the top of guys' heads, but you look at the top of the king's head, it looks amazing. Right, so it's a really good subject choice.
Well, and you can see like on the floor in front of Lionel, I can never remember his name. You can see the red torchlight, the orange torchlight reflecting on the floor from what the red shield soldier is holding.
Yeah.
it goes through
The color,
light.
dude, the color balancing in this is phenomenal.
Right?
Yeah.
It's
Really
so
good.
well done. Wow, like, this guy really has an eye for color balancing.
Yeah, he's done really well here. So
Yeah, it's a sexy shot.
awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
thank you, Alex. On to the next. Oh,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
great.
So this is one of mine. I'm sure you're shocked.
The
So
posing sells it, man. The
yeah.
posing
So
is
okay. So this
awesome.
I chose this one. Aside from the fact that it's just a really cool shot. This account, All Toys Wrestling. It's so much fun to follow. I think sometimes in toy photography we get so wrapped up in doing what's cool and what's dramatic and stuff. We sometimes forget to just have some fucking fun. And
Just
this
grabs me,
account
man.
is
Wow.
it's so much fun. Like it's basically they've created this whole it's okay. So you know how I have my like NCW where I occasionally do these matches between random action figures. So I discovered this after I'd done my first one of those with when I'd done Scaphoid and Cody Rhodes, and I discovered this. They've got this like entire like world going where they like have storylines. They'll do promos with the different characters, how they're talking about their upcoming matches. The referee is a stormtrooper. Like it's just such a fun account to follow. But then you get posing like this. Like this is obviously a finishing move here. I believe this was a title match between the White Ranger and I can't remember who that is on the floor.
Vulcan.
But just the posing though, like this is this
Yeah.
is one of the things I speak to. Like it is so impactful. It's so skillfully done. Like
Yeah.
the energy is there. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, it's really so much fun.
Yeah, really well done, man. Good pick on that one. I like the black and white contrast, like the background being
Yes.
completely noir, and then having the colors pop in the foreground. Just beautiful stuff.
Makes it really cool and comic booky, or even like anime kind of anime-esque.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very anime, like kind of like old like wrestling movies kind of style.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I couldn't get it in the screenshot, but a lot of times the posts will come. A lot of times it'll be like 5 or 6 shots in the post showing the progress of the match, but then there'll also be like a write up in the description of like commentary almost of the
Oh,
match.
that's awesome.
So it's
Oh,
just
that's so cool.
like I said, it's just
Yeah.
it's so much fun to follow. So
And even the red figure, I mean, his hip is slightly raised, like he's grabbing his back, He's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly like a wrestling match,
it's the posing is complete understanding of the human body.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's great. All right, so thank you, All Toys Wrestling.
Definitely following them.
Oh yeah. Okay, this is my other one. So this is I love how creepy this is. Like this actually you guys have heard many times how I don't care about Mezco at all. This is one of I think 2 Mezco figures I could see myself owning and using. I don't know what it's called. I don't know what
Owlman.
it's from.
Owlman.
Owlman. Oh, so
Owlman,
okay.
yeah.
So very creative naming of the character.
Yes.
So
I think he's actually called Lord of Fear, but I think the sub name is
Okay.
Owlman. Yeah.
So this one, it's very simple posing, but just the way it's been shot, and then the overlays and stuff he put on it to make it look like an old photo. It looks like it could be a still from like an early like 1920s horror movie,
Completely. Yeah.
like Nosferatu or something
Yeah.
like that.
Very,
But
it's
it
very,
also-
it's that total Nosferatu.
The way it's posed, like it's, I don't want to say it's awkward posing, but it's kind of like got that stilted look that you see in like early like 1800s photography, where photography was new and people didn't know what they were supposed to do for photo, so they're just kind of standing there staring with like no expression on their face, and it reminded me so much of that. And of course you guys also know how much I love the Universal horror movies, like the 1930s ones, so it kind of reminded me of that too. It had that like simple creepiness to it
For
that
sure.
I just loved.
So
The movie-
you know what I love about this is a lot of the time when people use effects, they overuse it, and like, yeah, that's an effect, right?
Yeah.
The only reason we know this is an effect is because we know that's an action figure.
Yes.
If you didn't
Yeah.
know it was an action figure, you would think it was some old-timey movie you never heard of.
Yeah.
The editing, all of it, the lighting, the photo, the posing, And to your point, the way it's like that old school kind of posing, like I don't know how they even managed to capture that, but it's just it looks legit, right?
Yeah.
And
Now,
everything. Oh, sorry, Jeff. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say he like as far as how he did it. Yeah, I mean I've seen this a few times before. There is a tin daguerreotype process which you can purchase that you can run as a plugin. Which does a really good job. But the thing is, though, is that what he's done here, I think, is that he's put in a god light. So he's got like the above lighting there to pick up the brows, pick up the skull, pick up the top of there. And that's what makes it look like a daguerreotype tin photograph.
Yes.
So you can use you can have the filter, do the legwork for you. But if the core photo is not supporting the filter, it doesn't look right.
Yeah.
Well, it would look legit whether it had the effect or not, right?
Right.
The effect accentuates what's already fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say too. I've seen the movie that this is from, and all of the elements that you described, David, are from the movie. It's like some kind of occult deal his ancestors made with this character. So table, so the photos and everything are from that time, the imagery. So everything that you kind of pulled out and you got from that, was actually from the movie. So it's really good storytelling there too.
I had no idea that it was an actual character. I thought it was just an original character that was brought up.
Oh, was it for real?
Interesting.
I thought it was an original.
Yeah.
No, I had I thought this was just one of Mezco's things that they did. I had no idea it was from an actual movie.
It's like a young Irish guy. I think he went back home. His parents died, and they made a deal with this like way back then. And he is now again stalked by it and discovering his ancestry and their connection. So the hauntingness of the character, stalking them and so on. It's quite.
Really?
Is this movie good?
You were just like a average brother.
Yeah.
Honestly, you keep making with the surprising insights on shit. I love it.
I gotta look up this movie now.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it seems like a pretty interesting
really
watch.
Need to see this.
I think it was maybe 2010 or 2006, sometime around then.
Huh.
For real?
Yeah.
Wow.
How did I sleep through that?
Very cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
I got to admit, though, now that I know it's 2006, I'm less interested.
It's like going back and watching that 1999 Haunting at Hill House movie. That thing is bad.
I just thought like if they had costumes like that in the old black and white films, that would be worth sitting through reading the script for,
Well, thank you to Temple the Feathered Serpent. Great shot, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
That's
This is my guy here. I just, I looked for pictures that really inspired me and made me laugh, right? Or not made me laugh, but just struck me in a certain way. And as soon as I came across this, I love everything that Off the Shelf does, but this was just so goofy and ridiculous, and like it's so ridiculous that I love it, Now I had sent them a few questions. I asked what their favorite toy line was. What do you use to take your picks? So the favorite toy line would definitely be Mezco. But I think they're soft, and they think their soft goods and accessory articulation for the most part are top notch. Also, Rumble Society lines specifically near and dear to their heart, due to an incredible job at creating new characters that have great backstories. Atticus Doom being my favorite amongst them, right? Greg? Right?
Oh,
yeah. Like I love the Rumble Society shit, and they also have the best articulation of any Mezco figures.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And they use a Rebel T7i with a 50mm lens. They're talking about upgrading their camera soon, but this does the job for right now. Use a light reflector outside and then inside Lume Cube lights. For my outside shots, I use a lot of practical techniques: sand, water, snow, fire as well. and I'll usually create my backdrop dioramas outside with rocks and foliage in my backyard. And then the figure of the year is Lim Toys Rest of Us 2-pack, Joel and Ellie.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's a nice kit. That's a really nice kit.
So yeah, but look at this, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you look at it, don't you just want to giggle? Like, you know?
And again, like, you know, when you shoot outside, is, you know, as like David will know, is that scale is always something like you fight, right? And it's like in order to get it so it looks right for 112, and this looks great.
But I love how they kind of said "fuck you" to the scale too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They did with the flowers, but with the foliage, no. Like the foliage looks good.
Yeah, it
right?
does. It just looks like they're running through long grass.
Yeah.
It's just so light and fun.
Sorry, frolicking through long grass.
And I like how you control the light over the figures, because the figures could glare a lot of light back to the camera.
Yeah.
But you can see the flowers and so on are well lit. You know, everything else is, you know, shooting that light up.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, because having done this myself, shooting stormtroopers, white stormtroopers outside can be tough on a sunny day.
They look like ghosts.
Yeah, they practically glow.
The other thing he's done well too here is those two dark elements, top right, top left, perfect framing. Like it's like it's shadows that like naturally frame the whole thing. It's awesome.
You know, and it did such a natural job. I didn't even notice.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Great eye, dude.
Yeah, that's really good. Amazing.
I love it.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really
Super
fun.
powered.
And thank you for getting all the information from them too, Jeff. That's always really interesting stuff.
Good contrast.
I'm curious, right? Like it's kind of cool to find out how people do their process and shit. Yeah. So they provide a lot of good information there.
Awesome.
Super powered, are you still there?
I'm here, dude. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Oh. Okay. I haven't heard from you in a while, dude.
Yeah, no, I was saying there's good contrast that he's created here with like the grass texture, like comparing it to like the smooth armor on the stormtroopers. It really
absolutely
pop.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty critical, and it keeps the images nice and interesting too. Like everything behind them, you still kind of want to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Solid shot. This one's excellent.
Yeah.
Really I like the blurring in the background too. That's really, really well done.
Well, and the foreground. There's that strip at the foreground as well. That
I'm using my phone now, so I can barely see that. But I could like.
Focal depth is just great. Really good.
Jazz, we can see your pores.
No, it looks really, really well done.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you to Off the Shelf Pictures. And nice.
This here. You
is
know
that the Gotham by Gaslight?
Yeah, it is.
Gaslight. Goes.
You know, this was a great shoot, and all of this artist their pictures have a like this kind of quality to them, like this. I don't even know how to describe it. It feels
surreal.
Like there's texture to it or something, you know. Like, and all of their pictures are like this, but this just jumped out because Gaslight was one of those figures I thought about, and then I decided not to. But this the way they've shot this, they've made Gaslight so amazing. And I had asked a few, so they mentioned that their favorite line is Mezco, and they use their iPhone 11 for taking the pictures.
Wow.
Nice.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah, it's a very I didn't catch who said it, but someone already said surreal. It looks very like it's got like a surrealist painting look to
it. It almost makes me feel like I'm on acid looking at it. You know what I mean? Like it's just so like intense and crisp.
You know what reminds me of? Like I don't know if you guys are into art much, but Canadian painter Alex Colville and he does magic surrealism, and it's like it reminds me of one of his things where it's like hyper real, but there's almost like a illustrative 3 dimension to it, kind of thing. So
Okay, so now I want to see this stuff.
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to figure out how to describe how it looks, and it's almost like, yeah, it's so weird because it does, looking at it, it's like the way the background almost feels like it's moving as I'm
Yeah.
looking at it.
Yeah.
So
That's a
it's
good
like,
way to describe it.
it's
yeah.
like this is the action figure photography equivalent of like dropping acid.
right.
Yeah.
Because it's like
Right.
it's got an optical illusion element to it that I actually didn't even notice when I first glanced at it.
Never mind thinking about how they pulled it off.
Yeah.
Right. Like I did a similar shoot to this with the McFarlane Dark Knight falling off a building, like down and all I did was lay the figure on a monitor, right?
Yes.
So
remember
it
that one.
looked like he was falling. This could be that, but it doesn't. It's too
Too crisp.
crisp in the background. Like there's
Yeah.
there's something else going on here, and
I'm trying to figure out what he's used.
I was
I
wondering
love,
if
I
it's
love that we
fast.
can't figure that out, right? Like
Yeah.
it just looks like, oh yeah, that's like an old school Batman jumping at my ass. I'm gonna get thumped.
Yeah.
You know? Like
I'm reasonably sure just from the look of some of it that it's probably a digital cutting. Probably.
I was leaning towards that as well, but I mean it's a good blend if that's the case.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
it's,
done
really
it really well. Yeah. But I mean, like I've had pictures in other review shows before where they've said, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a digital," and it's not. It was, but so it's but when this is the thing that I always think is that when you have the reviewers or the viewer guessing and they don't know, then you've done it right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
Well, the
that's very
best
true.
special effect is something that doesn't look like a special effect, right?
Yep.
And like the choice of those smoggy looking clouds really ties in, like that
yes.
smog from the industrial age with the Victorian Batman.
Yeah.
I love the break in the clouds, kind of in the center there. Like it looks like he's jumping through them, and I
Yeah,
love
right
that
above
there's,
his
like,
head, you see,
light,
yes.
all the light
Yeah.
in it is behind him. Like and it's the rest is just kind of like shadows. It's almost like he threw a smoke bomb or something. He's like
He came through.
dropping into it. I don't know.
Oh,
Excellent.
don't. Yeah. You just
Yeah.
completely altered my reality with this picture again.
The lighting on the figure is also like it's outstanding. It makes me kind of think that like I think you're right about it being kind of an image that he's sort of either layered behind it or it's like a monitor or something like that, because the lighting on the figure looks just so crisp, and I almost feel like it wasn't lit with that background because of the way that,
Yeah.
like
I was gonna say the same thing, Adam. It's like, yeah, it does feel layered.
Because if you had, like, if it was against the screen, then if you had a light source behind it, unless you're sort of like balancing plus adding to the front one, then you'll get a penumbra around it.
Yeah.
right, yeah.
So, but here it's very clean. Now, again, if you're on point with the lighting and you have a 3-point light out front, he's got at least 2 here. He could have a bounce card down below just to pick up some of the details on those legs. But yeah, I mean, he's done it well. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I love it.
All right.
I gotta
And
get
an
this
awesome
figure
figure.
too. Yeah, I didn't pre-order this one, but I have to look for him in a while.
I have FOMO
It-
coming out the yin yang on this. Oh,
It's a sick figure, but there is a bit of a weirdness with the head. Like it's possible to push it so far down that he looks like, and I hope that this will be effective, but anyway, it doesn't. He looks like a giant midget. You know what I mean?
yeah.
God damn.
Oh
Like,
no! Okay.
He's got no neck, and he's just like, I'm a giant midget. You know, like it's,
That's interesting. It's kind of the one thing I see people in reviews like, oh, the headset's here, it doesn't turn there, but I mean, you guys know, as like
You can work it.
photographers, man, there
Gotta
ain't
work
nothing that sticky tack can't fix for the shot.
That's
Yes.
true.
So
Sticky tack is the tool. I
yeah,
think every toy photographer should have it.
yeah, exactly.
Well,
Same with the
I
hockey
gotta be
tape.
honest. This is going to be a Batman where if I stumble across it in the wilds, I'll probably pick it up.
Yeah,
Especially if I'm at a comfortable place where I've got the space to accommodate it here.
yeah,
Like because to your point, Greg, you can always work it, right? You can find a way to make it happen.
always. Yeah. All right, Tony's figures. Great fig, great shot, man. Really good. Oh, this is one of mine. All right. So this is actually no full disclosure. This is a friend of mine, Matt. But part of the reason why I wanted to feature him is that when I've watched Pic Bar a few times. I always like when they pull out the accounts of people who don't have large followings yet and they haven't been in the game for a long time.
Yeah.
Because like not only is it good to see their work, but also too, it's like there's sometimes people who come in who don't have like they haven't sort of had a lot of influencing from others yet. They're still sort of discovering it on their own, and they really come across some interesting stuff that only when you're new can you do, you know.
Yeah.
And I find with Matt's shot, I know that Matt's a big film buff. He's also he writes short stories and all this stuff too, and so like he's got this like creative side of him, and it's been really interesting to see his photography grow out of that. The cinema side is sort of like allowing him to like what works with framing, what like the illusion of the shots, and then his storytelling, comes through with the posing and what he's trying to tell. So this is one of his most recent ones, and now unfortunately I should have grabbed it behind the scenes, but the buildings in the back are those tiny like 144 Godzilla ones.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so cool. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
So he's just nails getting these things in there, right? And then the same thing with like the greenery in the background. It's like aquarium green, but it looks like a full size tree. Like he's really sort of like.
I love how cartoony it looks.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fun. There's a buoyancy to the whole thing. Like it just feels Saturday morning cartoon awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Really creative the way he's done this set. That's so cool with the building. I thought it was a digital building. I didn't realize that was practical.
This one is 100. There's not any processing in this at all. It's all.
That's amazing.
And what's amazing is it's a phone shot.
Wow.
It's an iPhone shot.
Yeah.
So
What?
Yeah.
That's wild,
phone,
man.
Yeah. So I think it's like if you check out his account at
right back.
_toy_ photos, you'll
Yeah,
see
I
a
like
bunch
this
of
one.
stuff in there.
It's funny this because they I think it was Jeff said it kind of looked like almost like a cartoon. My first thought when I looked at that was it reminded me of some of the cutscenes from like Call of Duty, like Modern Warfare
Yes.
2, like the older ones.
Yeah.
Because I didn't play any of the newer ones because I suck at them. But it just had that look. Like it's got realism, but it's also got that like not quite realism that you get from a video game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's got that
like the cinematic feel to it.
Yeah, cinematic. I was gonna say surreal. That's not really what I was going for, but yeah, it's got that video game look to it. Especially with the kind of how the lighting is somewhat soft. And again, I love the barbed wire in the front, the blurred barbed wire, given so much more depth.
Yeah.
Because like the forced perspective, using those buildings and that miniature tree, it blends together so well.
Yeah, it turns out really great, and I mean, as anyone knows who's shot camera, their phone or point and shoot. You're fighting the software all the time, right? For light equalization, for focus depth, like it's always it feels like a battle. And
Yes.
this one, he really kicked the phone's ass. Like he really did.
Yeah.
So,
That's a great way to
yeah.
put it. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and
Yeah.
I've said many, like I can appreciate the struggle that you would go through to get a shot like this. All of my stuff, with the exception of the underwater stuff that I do, everything is shot on my phone.
Yes. Yeah.
So I understand his pain and what he had to go through to get this shot.
Yeah. It's I thought this was great. And yeah, so yeah, if you get a chance, like everyone else we're featuring, go check them out. Give them a follow, give them a like. So yeah, so this is
Oh,
Jazz just
So-
woke up.
I love him. I
So
love
good.
him.
yeah.
I love Jedi Jack. Jason's such a cool dude, man.
Yeah, he's a really, like, he's actually part of, like, I'm part of a collab group that's it used to be mostly people from Indonesia, and then just sort of a few sort of like Americans and the lonely Canadian. Actually, no, there's Eddie and his toys, which Eddie and Trotta, you guys may know.
Eddie's a
He's-
good guy.
He's Toronto as well. So anyway, Jedi Jack is in that collab, and he's a super nice dude, supportive of everyone. But why we're here is that to say the man loves Daredevil is an understatement. Like,
Yup.
he is just.
I think we- I think me and him share the same amount of love for Daredevil. Except he's actually cosplayed as different versions
Yes.
of Daredevil.
And he looks
that-
amazing. Like, the
He
dude,
looks so good.
looks like Daredevil. Like,
He looks
it's
so
just- Yeah.
Wow.
He also does martial arts too. I don't know if you knew that.
I do, yeah, I did. I did
Okay, I want to see him kick someone's ass in a Daredevil suit.
Oh man, he's like,
Right,
he's got the Netflix one. Like, he's got a couple poses there. Like, and like, you know, the Netflix is pretty tight. The guy's jacked. Like, he's like, I would want to mess with
he's
him.
ripped.
Yeah.
He's a big dude too. He's like 6 something. He's like 6'4", I think.
Yeah.
Wow.
But all that aside, what I can really tell from his shots is, like, here's someone who's lived, breathed, and loved the comics, because
Yeah.
so
This
many
is
of his
very
shots,
comic book.
they're
This
just like this. Like,
This is like a cover.
yeah, they're like
Yeah.
beautiful.
It's so
They're like
true.
Miller-esque, you know, these Miller-esque,
Yeah.
you know, everything's Dutch angle, you know, it's like, it's a lot of, you know,
That's
foreshortening
true.
and stuff, and it's
The
beautiful.
posing on this
The,
is
the
phenomenal.
posing is just magic, right?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
as soon as this comes up, it feels like you're watching a 3D movie. It's jumping out the screen.
Yeah, well, and even just the lines of it, like following the scene basically
Yeah.
straight down through Daredevil into Bullseye, and it
Yeah.
just, it's got
Yeah.
such a nice flow to it.
It's so
Yeah.
expert.
Yeah.
The way he's
Yeah.
got the red light there too, like
Yes.
just kind of bouncing
Yes.
off of the two of them, like it really. Oh man, yeah, I love everything about this shot. Set design's also amazing too. I know he makes a lot of his sets, I think, as well.
He
And-
makes
and-
all of his sets.
Yeah, like that's amazing.
Holy hot hell!
And the thing that he's done too here, I think, is really great, is that, you know, when you have something that's this close to the camera, and the focus depth is so short, you run the risk of your character in the background really sort of like becoming like a blob. But
Yeah.
Bullseye here has just enough, like, it's just right, like it's a beautifully composed shot.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. But
You
I
mentioned it.
just love
You
it.
mentioned- I was gonna say you mentioned it earlier. Now that I think about it, it is very Miller-esque. Like,
it's very much.
Miller uses that Dutch angle for a lot of his action scenes. So, like, now that, like, thinking about it now, yeah, it's really, really well done. He's very good at capturing like his style, like Miller's style of 80s Daredevil.
very much.
I think
Even
that's
with
why
the
I like
colors
this
too.
Yep. Yeah, and he's like, there's some of his other shots too where he's got like that Romita era, you know, where everything is like it's kind of like, actually it's kind of like what you shot earlier with the Nightwing. It's like it's sort of a Asiatic long
Oh, it's
kind
like-
of panorama shot. Yeah.
Mhm.
Stuff like
Yeah,
that.
it's like
So,
the blues and the greens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's really good at balancing colors.
Yeah. And he does Mythic Legions now too. He's just gotten into that, and a lot of them, they deal with a lot of very vibrant colors too. And he's been doing some great stuff with the vampires, like the blues and the purples, and his stuff is a lot of fun. And just one thing, just like generally speaking, I'd like to say is that I always love photographers that take a chance. And it's like, may not work out, may not be your best shot, but it doesn't matter. Like we all know there's some photographers who are very well known, big followers, but they kind of operate within their own lane, and they kind of don't go too far out of it. And you'll have something where you see the shot, like, okay, yeah, that's it. It's fantastic, but it's just he doesn't really really drift too far.
It looks the same as all the other shots.
Yeah, I mean, let's try not to be too harsh.
The amazing becomes mundane because of its consistency.
That's right. Yeah, and with guys like Jack, I always like, because he's taking a risk with every shot, and I really appreciate those guys, and I always try to sort of give them as many props as I can, because man, that's what it's all about. That's where the fun
he's
is.
a big community supporter too, man. He posts my stuff to his stories and everything. I'm super appreciative.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, let's thank you, Jack. It's great, man. Awesome. Oh, and speaking of, there you go.
I saw this shot too. This is so.
Oh, that's mine.
Shocking.
Yeah, it was really
Daredevil.
Oh wow, Daredevil. Yeah, I saw this, and I honestly, this guy's been posting up a lot recently, and it's mostly been Mezco stuff. And then when I saw that he'd gotten the Mezco Daredevil, which is one of my favorite Daredevil figures, I was like, dude, you gotta just keep shooting it. He's so good. He's such a great figure, and he's able to capture a lot of the cool MCU style kind of
Hello.
Uh-oh.
Are you back?
Hello.
Oh,
okay.
You're back.
You're back.
Hello. Okay. Yeah. So he's really good at capturing that the MCU style of Daredevil and Spider-Man. And honestly, this just makes me more excited to see them together on the screen. I think that's mostly why I picked it. Also, I don't know if I want to get that Spider-Man figure, but that Daredevil figure, top notch. So good.
What Spider-Man is that?
That's the new No Way Home Spidey.
It's the final swing suit.
Oh, okay.
I hate that name. I hate the name. I hate the name so much.
It looks pretty awesome. He's got reflective blue paint. It's a really nice suit. I mean, as far as live action Spider-Man suits go, I think it's definitely the most comic accurate we've gotten. So.
Oh, for sure.
Daredevil is that? He looks great.
That's the.
It's the Mezco one.
Mezco.
Is it? I sold that one.
Why? Oh wait, yeah.
I don't think I even used it in one shoot.
Oh.
And I was in a mood to get some cash, so I sold it.
Okay. That's a decision. Okay.
So the question is here: do you think that moon is one of those light up ones you get off of Amazon, or
no? I think that's digital.
Yeah, there's some. It's either an LCD background or some kind of a picture or something held up behind it.
Yeah, if it is a picture, it'd be hell on earth to try to get it that black and then have it still be that lit.
Yeah, I'm definitely
point,
thinking that it's a monitor. So, and he sometimes does use monitors for his shoots. But yeah, he really, really well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's one of those lights that you can get that look like the moon, because it doesn't look like it's throwing a whole lot of light onto the figures.
Mm-hmm.
Or the background for that matter.
Yeah.
But
really great posing here, eh? The way that
the dynamics in the
his webs, that's really good. Reminds me of those the loading screens in those Spider-Man games. It's
totally.
really hard to get that his like aerodynamic, pose in action figure form. It just looks really good the way he's done that.
It's so well done, man.
He's also done a
Yeah,
good
he
job of hiding the gaps with the Hasbro.
Yeah, you
know,
can barely see where the joints like move there, that's crazy.
Oh,
that's,
wow.
That's a
Right
hard
back.
thing to
Yeah,
do, especially with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I gotta let the dog out. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Who let the dogs out?
Now, you see, this is something where that repair tool, because it's so good now. Like, I hate to say, but I would use it on like the foot peg, just because. I mean, like you take out that hole and you're like, it's like it's a toy. You shouldn't have to, but still.
I feel you on that, but I've elected to leave it because I try not to. I like the shock of the illusion being broken. You know what I mean? Like somebody thinks it's a real thing, then they're like, "Oh, wait a second! Oh my God, those are toys!" Right? Like the eventual realization. In my opinion, by making a toy trick somebody, even with it obviously being a toy, but you've done a good job. You fool them for half a second. That's the goal, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, this is a great shot though. It's really solid.
There's a bunch of different shots from that post that he did, but that was my favorite shot out of all of them. I was like, wow, this is top notch Spidey Daredevil stuff, man.
He's also got the leading lines, which are really nice, from the web to Daredevil's arm, and even like somewhat that building on the left. Like he's really got it all, sort of like bullseyeing in towards the middle, which is really nice.
Oh yeah.
It's really well thought out.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Yeah. All right, so Red Hood 18244, awesome. There we go.
So I usually only pick like artists and then somebody else who I've been doing this recently. Somebody else who has helped the community in any sort of way, and in this case, it is. Oh my God, how do I pronounce his name? And Thanatos Unlimited. He runs an Etsy shop, and I've gotten a bunch of gear off of him previously, and he's always thrown something cool in. He's always thrown in something extra. He's been super helpful. He's been helping me out with a couple of things a couple projects that I'm working on currently, and he ships it out at a fairly reasonable price considering like how much detail is put into it. So,
and he just did that awesome hand pack, which is really cool.
Yes, man. I saw that. I was like, I might get it. I might, even if it doesn't move very well.
Jazz and audio problems.
Really cool stuff. God damn it.
No, you're back. You're back.
Okay.
He's back.
Yeah, he does. He does really cool stuff. I had actually ordered. What was it? I ordered a Karambit set. And I ordered. What was it? Night vision goggles as well, and a couple other things I think from my last order. And I didn't expect him to put in another Karambit with the holster, so I ended up having two. And then he also sent another set of night vision goggles, so I was like really happy. It also happened to be good considering that one of my sets of night vision goggles just broke recently in a shoot. So I'm really happy about that. I'm really fortunate that he helped me out with that. And he sent out what was it? I think it was a knife recently. And I'm like, oh shit! Now that I'm done my my Deathstroke custom, I might pop that in with him on his gear. But yeah, he does great stuff. He said that he wants to do more toy photography other than just to promote his products, but right now it's just using his iPhone or using his phone to take pictures of products and promote.
Where is he located?
I can't remember, but he's in one of the central states.
Is this the guy you got your Sam Fisher head from?
No, actually, my Sam Fisher head is the Supreme Knight Bruce Wayne head. I got my night vision goggles that are on a different figure from him, and then the karambit sets that's on a different figure from him as well.
Okay.
There's a couple other things that I got from him. But yeah,
You know what's cool about his stuff too? Like I remember when he first started running his print shop. He just started with basic guns and that, and he may have been using the that other, like, the, what is it called? The type of printer that comes in like the coils, right? The coil
PLA?
lines. Yes, thank you. He may have been using that, but like a higher resolution. I'm not sure. But then either he upgraded to like a very high resolution version of those, or he switched to resin. I'm not sure. But the quality, like over the last like year and a half of his stuff, it's like increased like exponentially. Like it's really good looking stuff.
yeah,
Now.
yeah. Because there's stock photos from his old stuff. Oh, that's what I ordered. I ordered a honey badger from my Sam Fisher custom.
Yeah.
So I saw one of the stock photos that he had posted up for that honey badger. I didn't really care because I was just like, it's a honey badger, whatever. It's going on a figure. And I saw the thumbnail, and it wasn't like a very good looking gun, but I still ordered it anyway. And when it came in, I was like, holy shit, there's so much detail in this. And it's phenomenal. And even it was the Red Hood helmet that I had purchased from him. It's actually on my Red Hood custom now, if you can see that. But yeah, the detail is really, really good. You can see all the little lines that are supposed to be there. It's great. Like if anybody's in the chat or if anybody's watching right now, I highly suggest supporting this person and definitely order with confidence. If you want like a ton of stuff from him, do it. Just go ahead and do it. Even if like shipping is a little more expensive than what you're looking at from other shops, he throws in something extra there because it's just like, hey, here's some extra stuff that I like printed by accident, or somebody didn't need it, so here you go. Here's some stuff. It's really, really good stuff. I'm like really excited to order more stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, he's a super nice guy too. So
super nice dude. Yeah, he nice always messages me about stuff, asks me about certain figures and whatnot, and just like super helpful. If you guys are trying to plan your customs and you're not entirely sure if the head or certain equipment will like fit properly onto the base figure that you're working with, I suggest messaging him and then actually asking him about it, and he'll actually help you out along the way and like walk you through it and help try to help with sizing and whatnot, because he just did that for me. Yeah, it's so good, man. Because I asked him for a Bane head so that I can put it on the Dark Knight Rises body from McFarlane, because that motherfucker's huge, and I just want a really big Bane. So I wanted a comic accurate head, so I'm just going through the process of that and just getting all my ducks lined up and putting an order in properly at some point. But yeah, well worth it, well worth the money. Really, really cool guy. Definitely support him. Also, there's a goggles down version of that.
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
That's
so cool, dude. When I saw it, I was like, yo, what?
Yeah, this is right up your alley. That's
this is jazzware.
Yeah. Adam, I suggest buying those two heads for the Sam Fisher base that you have right now.
I'm heavily considering it. I mean, the sculpt looks outstanding. So I'll definitely check them out after this.
He also does have different versions of the Honey Badger, and then there's also the Karambit set that I was talking to you about. Try to find the newest Karambit set, because it'll have a sheath as well, so that way you can have it on his left side.
But look,
so cool, man.
This head isn't even painted, and it looks fucking great.
Dude, the detail in it is phenomenal.
Really good.
Right? Imagine how great that would look with like if we got Zach from our group to paint it or whatever.
Yeah. So well done.
That could look real.
Yeah, that could look really, really good, man. I think of the different possibilities that you would have if you had multiple of these and different bodies, because the base that you're using right now, Adam, right, is the Snake Eyes, the
Yeah,
Ninja Snake
yeah.
Eyes, right? Yeah, imagine if you use the Commando Snake Eyes, the new Commando Ninja Snake Eyes, that came out recently. Where is it? Where's up there? This guy, the one with the silver and black head.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No,
Now, imagine if
that
you
looks
put
sick.
this head on this body, and then you gave him the fucking like green and black face
Hey.
paint from like Pandora Tomorrow.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Sorry, the Scrum Master in me is coming out. Do we have other artists to review?
I don't know. Just let me try to get out.
I think we have one more.
Where are we? So
Yeah,
I
we got
think
that
we
one.
got one more, right?
Yep.
Because
Yeah,
there's where we end.
let's give him some love because
Let's get in here. Yeah.
Oh, that's my guy too. Yeah, yeah. He I stumbled across this fairly
I love
recently.
this
I'm
picture so much.
That's a
Okay.
great shot. Wow.
Now hold on a second. I'm
Wow.
kind of biased. I'm kind of biased on this, guys. I've been reading Transformers, and because Transformers and GI Joe are now in the same universe, I'm very biased to any GI Joe shot that's being put out. That being said, outdoor shoots with
Gee,
uh,
Spirit,
I put
just
some Transformers together. I'm very excited about
something.
it. I didn't know.
Right?
Yeah, that
You should be
sounds
reading
cool.
the comics. Also, you
Void
should be watching
Rivals. Void Rivals. That's what's
Void
putting it all
Rivals.
together.
Also, if you're not reading the new Transformers series now, you should be. It is phenomenal. It's also kind of like if you like the '80s cartoon, you'll like the comic a lot.
Oh, this is another guy who shoots with his phone.
But
Yes.
yeah. There's
Yes.
another guy who shoots with his phone.
Wow.
He shot this outdoors. It looks so real. It's
Outdoor
so
shooting
cinematic.
with a phone. You're
I love
talking
it.
my
Yeah.
language, man.
Gonna
Right?
say, Dave, we're gonna need your
The scale.
input on this.
I love the lower lighting in this. Like it almost feels like the sun is setting. It's really, really well done. Like it's really well lit.
It's so perfectly done from a consideration on perspective with the waterfall in the background.
Yeah.
Everything about it, it's so well thought out.
yeah,
This is
yeah.
something where he had this idea, went on a hike with the figure,
Mhm.
and found the spot that matched what he was thinking.
And prayed like hell that the water wasn't too strong to knock
Yeah.
over his figure.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're speaking from experience there, buddy.
Oh my god, I almost lost a Mythic Legion's weapon in a river once because I misjudged the current.
Oh my gosh,
Jeez.
expensive loss.
Was it again?
I saw this and was just like, this is real. Like I want this figure now. Like I'm gonna buy him eventually, but I want him more now.
Yeah.
He is
before.
fantastic. He is
Yeah.
absolutely
This
fantastic.
should be the picture on this figure's box.
Yeah.
It's for real, honestly.
Right? Honestly,
Better than the box art for sure.
there are people
Honestly,
that
really good.
photograph these Joe figures that I feel like would get paid well enough if they were the promotional photographers instead of whoever they decided to do the promotional.
Right?
That's it.
Like pretty much anybody from our group.
Well, it's
It's
kind of nice.
so-
The Hasbro photographer, it's Dan. He's shooting the Galaxy is his IG handle.
Yeah.
He just recently took over shooting both Marvel Legends, and Joe. So all the new
Nice.
Joe stuff you'll see is his. And he finally took Hasbro and said, "Hey, look, stop doing these boring product shots. Put them in stuff like this."
Yeah.
You know, and he's can't use outdoor stuff, so he's using sets, but he's still like, Joe is made to be fun, and shots like this are fun, right?
I've been following him forever. I remember when he announced that he got his first gig for Hasbro. He was so excited. I think at that point he was just shooting like the standard product shots for Black Series. I think it was the first
Wow.
stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, and I've noticed that lately it's been like, wait a minute, it's not just product shots anymore. There's cool stuff now.
Yeah, and Easter eggs and all that kind of stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
It's really, really fun stuff. Yeah, but
It's
but it's,
really,
it's
really
for
cool.
this shot though. So Dave, you got to say, man, what? Give me you got to give us your
So, okay,
outdoor.
my
Pro.
first thought when I looked at this and I saw that he was shooting with his phone, and my first thought was, how wet did his knees get? Because the number of times
I was
I've
thinking
knelt
about the
down,
phone. How wet did his stomach get?
I've knelt down in moss so many times, wet moss, and you come up with like a baseball sized wet patch on your knee. But also, yeah, knowing how, yes. I'm assuming, does it say what phone he was using?
He's an iPhone.
An iPhone. Okay, so that's probably even harder because I know, like on Mandy's iPhone, my spouse, her iPhone doesn't have manual settings. So like on my phone, because I have a Galaxy A some kind of number. I actually have pro settings in the camera app, so I can actually set my shutter speed. I can set my ISO. I can do manual focus. Her iPhone doesn't have that option, so
Through Lightroom, it should though.
Only if you've got the paid version of Lightroom. The free version of Lightroom doesn't include any camera stuff.
What?
So if he's shooting just with the iPhone based camera, this would have been even more difficult. But yeah, getting that focal distance, getting your figure in focus, and and all that can be a bit of an adventure, especially because you're outside. Your phone screen, you're gonna have a glare on that damn thing.
So the other thing is from composition. Can you tell on this what he's done, which is actually really ingenious to compensate?
Well, having that little bit of foliage in the foreground is a really nice touch to make sure that the focus that it looks that it gives that depth. I'm looking at. I mean, having that running water in the background, that waterfall in the background is just so nice. I'm lost in it.
That's what really stood out for me, man.
Yeah.
Those three things are key to making a toy look real, right? Having a planned foreground, making sure the primary area is in focus, which is the figure and the surrounding area around it, and having a background. Right.
Well, and like we said earlier, outdoor photography, the big thing is making sure there is nothing in frame that throws off your scale. That makes it, because
that's the biggest part. I've spent like 20 minutes clearing out leaves and stuff just to make sure that there's, and you leave the proper little plants that look appropriate, right?
Yep.
And you pick those rocks that are just the right size, and it takes time sometimes.
And there's something with this shot particular, though, which is really kind of interesting. He's got a slight Dutch angle on the shot, but he's obviously posed the figure on an angle so he's standing up straight.
Yes.
Can I ask what a Dutch angle is?
It's when you tilt, you rotate the picture about 10, 15 degrees or so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I sometimes do that in post edit.
Yes. Yeah.
It's something most of us probably do without thinking, just because it looks more cinematic when it's if it's got a slight angle to it.
Yeah, honestly, like everything I do is to my eye, right? Like I'm not trying to. I've even kind of dropped the rule of thirds or whatever. Like I sort of do it so it satisfies my eye.
Yeah,
for sure. But this is crazy. Like I'm looking at this, I'm like, because the water line in the background is running straight, but yet he's standing up. I'm like, that's wild. Like he's posed it on an angle, so it works. So I'm like, that's really cool.
It's so skillful and artfully done.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing that from a technical perspective, from playing with toys perspective, that I'm looking at his feet, and like he's got one leg. He's got one knee bent, so that back foot, his left foot, is not flat on those rocks. Yeah. So, like, what kind of balancing voodoo has he pulled off here? That not only is there water,
that would have been really
wild.
He's standing.
But also, like the wind too.
Yeah. It's just.
I was trying to figure out if he pegged it and then covered it with rocks, but you could see the feet, right?
Yeah.
It could have also been that he set it into the mud. as well.
Can you guys
That's
hear
That we
that
can
noise?
rest with that.
I've done that too. Yeah.
Do you hear that noise? Like
It's like a scratch it. Yeah.
Yes.
or,
I
or
hear
like,
that
like
too,
a
yeah.
panting or something like.
Sounds like a dog panting.
Yeah, like some kind of panting.
It's Thor getting
Is that my
excited.
dog?
If you're stroking it, we can hear you. Yeah.
Connor?
I gotta go.
First one to go. Oh my god! And hang up.
All right.
So now you guys know this kind of stuff more than I do.
That's not my dog.
Those weapons that he's got there, those aren't the ones that came with Spirit.
Yes,
I
they
know.
are. Yeah. They are.
That rifle is not.
Wait.
No,
that-
sorry, the rifle is not. The rifle looks like
Yeah, the pistol does,
gridiron
but yeah, I don't
or
recognize the
Valor.
rifle.
I was wondering how that looks like maybe a custom sling that he's made for it.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what
Yeah,
it is.
so I can actually
The
see
one.
the one.
It's a
point sling.
1 point sling, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful. Love it. I love it already.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I can't
That's a
tell
great
if
shot.
that's a Valor gun or a gridiron. It's hard to tell.
Gridiron has more texture to it, whereas Vala's kind of like flat all the way through. Other than the iron sights are really well detailed. It's like the sides of the gun are just like kind of flat.
But I don't think that I think that Vala puts a scope on everything, and I don't.
Yeah.
He doesn't actually. Vala doesn't usually put scopes on everything, so it might be
Oh,
Oh,
Gridiron.
really?
Yeah,
Every
that-
single
that-
Valaverse
that-
thing I
that-
have, except for
that
the
whole
most recent
tin.
one.
That whole tin, man, like out of like the 80 guns, I think like 72 of them had scopes on them.
I think
They
the,
were,
I think
like,
the
crazy.
only Valaverse guns I have that don't have scopes on them are the AK-47s or AK-74.
So like,
whatever they're.
hold on a second. Where is it? So technically, now that I guess we're done now, right? Here, I'll show you one of the Vala guns that I have right now.
Just before we go, shout out to GI Joe A85 for
Yeah.
a great shot.
Fantastic.
Really
Yeah,
well done
Great
shot.
work,
Awesome
man.
shot.
Phenomenal.
I feel like if that was a picture somewhere in my life, I wouldn't get tired of looking at it.
Yeah.
Beautiful shot.
Yeah,
Keep
That is
rocking with the
wallpaper
phone,
worthy.
man.
Yeah.
definitely wallpaper worthy. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was gonna. Oh shit, Thor's in here.
Yeah, he's been here
He's
for
just
like an
been
hour.
So I was gonna say, so like this one right here. I don't know if you guys.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah. So it's like
Oh, that's sick.
these are technically the iron sights. It's on the sight, right?
Yeah.
But then you get something like this, and you have a holographic sight on it.
That's sexy.
Right. Yeah.
That's like this.
So-
That's like the swarm gun. Yeah.
But then again, like the sides of his guns don't usually have a lot of detail, but his like everything else, like around the
That one that you
trigger,
just
around the
held
gun.
up, what's that one called? Is that the Vector? Is
Yeah,
that-
it's a vector.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have one of those in gray. Must have been from
Wait,
the
a
first
real
one.
vector or a
Yeah, I
Valorverse
collect
vector?
fucking assault rifles. No,
Yeah. He wrote his name.
It's actually a submachine gun that shoots
Oh.
45 ACP.
okay, nerd. No, I have the first release Valaverse one that's in gray.
Okay. It's a really cool accessory. It's just
Did anyone
My
else just hear a
issue-
cat, or am I losing my
Yep.
mind?
Yeah.
That's
No, I heard a
that was
cat.
that was my cat. I'm sorry, guys.
That's okay.
Nothing to be sorry about.
I actually found that the weapons pack that Jeff and I had purchased recently at Heroes World. I can't remember what they're called. It was like
They're all-
Mark II designs.
Whatever it is, they're all gray, and I like these. They just. I'm not too picky about my weapons.
Oh yeah, no, but the detailing
Gun
in it is really,
and-
really good.
Yeah,
I think it's a lot better than the Valaverse detailing. Like
the Valaverse just has that varied color thing versus the all gray.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at the end of the day,
But-
it doesn't make too much of a difference in the picture because you've got lighting that
Yeah.
accentuates and highlights certain angles and shit, right?
But once you paint those Mark II design ones, I'm pretty sure it's called Mark II design.
Yeah, I was actually just
Once
looking
you
at them on the site about 2 hours ago. So
Yeah, they're really, really good. Like once you paint my sister and I painted all of them. Actually,
Yeah.
my sister painted all of them. So she did a really, really good job on them, and you can see a lot of the detail now that it's like fully painted. But then when you look at the Valiverse one compared to the Mark II design ones, and one is supposed to be pre-painted and the other one is unpainted, you're like, well, one looks a lot better than the other, and one of them came pre-painted. Like it's kind of weird. But the gridiron ones that we were talking about earlier, I was just like, those ones have a lot of detail in them because it's like the removable magazine, and there's like the weathering, and there's like all the little like tiny details in the barrel and the side of the side of the gun, or even on the stock of the gun. It's like it's really well done.
There's been so many times where I've like had gridiron stuff in my cart, and I can't pull the trigger because
Not
the
on
shipping is
not on the
absolutely insane.
$45 US shipping.
Oh my
no.
god, yeah.
No, that's
Oh, it's
crazy.
so crazy. Yeah, it is bananas. I'm in the same boat, Dave, because I remember stacking up a ton of stuff and was like, oh, there's a sale going on. This is gonna be super cheap. And I was like, $188? No fucking way.
I did the same thing when they first started doing the pulse rifles, the Aliens pulse rifles, because I wanted to turn a bunch of my GI Joes into a fire team for to fight my xenomorphs.
Sick.
And I had I think I had 6 pulse rifles, and I had a couple of the armor, like the body armor things as well. And I'm like, well, okay, this isn't too expensive because there was a sale on. This isn't going to be too expensive. Then I got the shipping. I'm like, this is going to be too expensive. I actually asked at that point.
Caused me to cancel many.
Yeah, I actually asked at that point. Reached out to there's the I can't remember where they're based. They're somewhere in Canada. Death Owl Customs. I'm like, so any chance you guys would be doing pulse rifles? And unfortunately, they said no. So I don't know whether I'm ever going to do that.
You know what we need to do is get us a 3D printer and figure that shit out.
Yeah,
exactly that.
Can't be that hard.
My wife has been telling me that we should definitely get that because I've been doing a lot of customizing recently.
I'd love to get. I'm just worried about ventilating it in my small apartment. Like honestly, other than that,
I'm worried about another rabbit hole. Is what I'm worried about.
That too. I hear it's pretty expensive.
It becomes so distracting that I stopped doing photography too.
I think one of the things though is that if you get you need to get the good quality stuff for the head sculpts and weapons, you need a resin printer.
Yeah.
And like you said, the material that goes into a pre-curing is highly toxic, insanely toxic.
Well, and there's also the expense. You need the printer, and the materials, the toxic materials, but then you also need one of those UV things to properly cure them. So it gets pricey. Yeah. Mandy and I have talked about it a couple of times because she does custom dolls, and obviously she makes dioramas as well. She made most of the dioramas.
I need to come pick up.
Yeah, we still need to get you to pick that one up that you bought.
I wanted to do it for the Joe collab, but then my life has been exploding, right? And it's adulting. You got to do adulting, right? And,
so she built most of the dioramas that I shoot in. So we've talked about getting a resin printer just for custom stuff for her dolls, for my figures, for her dioramas. But it just, I mean, I've said it before about the vet bills, but it's certainly not happening this year. We'll probably talk about it again in 6 months, and then probably 6 months after that, and then we'll forget about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we're at 2 hours. So what's
we usually run over 2 hours.
Yeah, you know what, we sort of, because of the technical difficulties, we didn't really follow our format.
Yeah.
Our collective ADD got us Dr. Conversations. But I had, whether the viewers had a good time or not, I had a great time hanging out. Guys,
same.
Yeah, likewise.
So fucking awesome. You know, like we gotta do more in-person shit.
Yes, we do.
Right?
Oh, for sure. I was gonna ask.
That was like R2D2 trying to use a voice.
Is that Thor trying to talk?
Hello?
Nope.
Yeah, there's
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, there we go.
Yes.
I hear something.
Yeah.
I'm getting a super amount of feedback. I don't know why, but it's weird. Yeah, it's really weird. So,
you said
like,
awesome,
real
like,
quick, we don't
character
really
from
have any
Star
huge
Wars.
announcements. Next week, Raven's Eye, Vico Sands, a few other fellas are going to be hosting. Yeah,
Nice.
nothing special.
Right on.
But we do
Yeah.
have the 17th is Lazy Boys top 10. So whoever's able to come in and jump in, show off their top 10, 2023, please join us. It's going to be a round robin. We're going to try and fill up the chat with as many people as we possibly can, fill up the live stream with as many people as we possibly can, and we'll just keep dumping people in, drop them out, and let people show off their top 10. It's going to be fun.
Let's do it.
All right.
Wait, sorry, what
Definitely-
day was that
definitely
for top 10?
Sunday the 17th.
Sorry? 17.
Okay.
17.
Sweet. Okay.
So it's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be pretty crazy. We did it in June, did it last year. Like, so many people came through and showed off their top 10s, and a lot of people's lists are very, they're super varied. Like, everyone has different favorites, so it's really interesting to see if a lot of people have like that one figure that they all like, or if it's like super various across the board. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. So yeah, everybody's welcome to come and join in on it and have some fun with it. It's gonna be fun.
Sorry, what time is that at, Thor?
It's gonna be at I think it'd be, I guess for me it's gonna be 5:00 p.m. But we're gonna start a little earlier since we're gonna anticipate having so many people come through. So we'll probably start 4 p.m. Pacific time, which will be 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
And I don't know how that goes for you guys up north.
We're
time
East.
You're Eastern.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're
cool.
East Coast.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it'll be
it's
7 p.m. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a blast. But once again, I really, really, really have to say I appreciate you fellas, man, for enduring my technical difficulties behind the scenes.
Hey, brother, we appreciate you.
No, don't even worry about it.
This up to us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the offer.
I had no idea if this would even be able to be feasible on the phone, but I guess, hey, here's the thing. It better be, because I pay for this shit, so it better so they better let me do this on the phone, but it sucks that they don't. I was reading and they haven't enabled on Android or on ISO like the ability to do stuff like if you're hosting it to do it. So thanks, Greg, for coming in a pinch. That was actually excellent. Being able to pull that off, because it wouldn't let me present it all. It's like it just lets me run it and solo you guys and do stuff like that. But it's kind of shitty on their end to do that. But again, thanks, fellas. It went off really well, and actually, it was a great experiment that I think worked out well, in the sense that if we have guests that are hosting and they're able to present, then they can actually control the pace. As long as I've got it up running and everything's running and it's good to go, and you guys can control that pace when you want to kind of do your thing. So now we know that's a nice little thing to find out about a function that I didn't even know we could do like that. So just that's something to bear in mind in the future for everyone hosting. If you're able to present on your end like Greg did, then you guys can, dictate how you want the show to go and what you want to do, what you're showing. Because then that means you can show any link if you need it. Like if you guys are talking about a new toy that came out, something that came out, then you can drop that in and present it, and then show that screen and talk about it as you're doing your thing. So that's actually awesome. That's really cool. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Real
Well,
cool.
really
But
appreciate you, sir.
other than that, fellas, appreciate you guys again, man. You guys always knock it out the box. You always make it a fun show, and yeah, man. I look forward to 2024 and you guys hosting a lot more, man.
Heck yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd like to say to Amateur and Greg, like, thanks for joining the Torontoyians, man. I appreciate you guys coming in, man.
Welcome aboard, guys.
Yeah, thanks for
Of course.
That's
Yeah,
what
welcome aboard.
Yeah, this has been a
Cheers
fun
to that
experiment.
one.
Even for us, this is the most we've had from the group joining us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, but that's awesome. I love it, and I think we can do. If I'm correct, I think I can either 10 or 12 people. So just bear that in mind. If you want to have a full house,
We could have a
We could do a 4-hour
Jesus.
stream.
Get going through it.
Just be unconscious in my chair.
Okay, we wouldn't be able to hear you anyway.
Oh, you facetious bitch.
Jesus.
and what Torontoyians, if Marshall didn't have it, that's like if Marshall
That's a
comes
trademark.
on and it's working smooth, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that. You guys are imposters if it's
Dude, every session, I swear, every session, I always.
I had audio issues too. It was weird.
awesome, man. It comes with the territory for you know.
Yeah.
I think, and I'm wondering sometimes, Marshall, are you doing it on purpose because you've set a precedent that it's like.
No, there's no way. I want to be able to talk. I wanted to talk about my favorite figures. I was like, no, wait, let me talk. God damn it. I was ccursing the whole time.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. But again, thanks, fellas. Enjoy your evening. And
Yeah, man.
thanks for coming in and doing this. Appreciate you guys so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having
Thank you,
us.
thank you.
Take care.
Later, guys.
Let's see.
Are we signing off now?
Yeah, I think we're out.
Yeah, all right, man. Bye.